What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How is everyone doing today? Um, Sorry about the delay. I went to do some editing, some of the documents that I didn't do the night before, so that's why it took me a bit longer than normal. Um, yeah, so sorry about that. Hold on. I just wanted to redact some names. Um, and all that. So just double check there's no. All right, cool. All right. So, but anyways, yeah, that's why I was delayed a little bit. Is I was busy doing that. Um. So yeah, how's everyone doing today? Doing okay. Myself, a little pissed off at the moment. Uh, Pretty much just due to what we're going to talk about here in a second. Otherwise, I am perfectly fine and enjoying my life. Um, I got a new mug to drink my coffee, my delicious coffee. That's from 1775 Rumble. It's delicious. It is my "Don't Tread on Me" mug. Yes, don't tread on me. 2A, super important. Ah, some delicious coffee. All right, so we got a shocking update coming down from the Nick Rekieta. Uh, God damn it, fucking hairs. From the Nick Rekieta case. It's really fucking disturbing, honestly. And it's something that could really just piss you off, which it has done to me. Um, but yeah, it is confirmed these documents are true. Um, Not just by the individuals that leaked it, which was Kiwi Farms, but also by Nick himself, as Nick did his first live stream in forever. Well, since his arrest. I mean, not in forever, but since his arrest. Um, and yeah, so and he basically confirmed uh, that these documents are 100% real. So yeah, this is really ridiculous, and it's and what's on them. It's the documents itself is just around the placement of his children and of things of that nature. But what's revealed in the document is enough to make any decent human being boil, except Mercada, who apparently just is mad that I don't even know why. The documents have been really. He's upset the documents have been released, but also that I don't know that people are trying to hold him accountable for his bullshit. I guess, and he's like, "How dare you try and hold me accountable?" So I don't know. I'm just fucking irritated as hell by this guy. Um. So, anyways, we'll go over that, and then afterwards, the traitor. We have a traitor in our midst. Fucking Andrew Wilson, Orthodox dad, is pro Biden now. He just his debate and shown his true colors that he likes Biden. That Biden is the person that he's going to back. And, no, I'm just so quick. I'm fucking with you. It was a clickbait title. You guys are fucking dumb. No, what happened was last night Andrew Wilson did a debate. And he took and this is in preparation for his debate that's going to happen. Hold on. I think today or tomorrow. I think tomorrow. Let me just double check. Okay. Thursday, or sorry, Wednesday, or for fucking hell, this Friday. So that's the debate that he was doing. He was doing one of his mock debates, and he was on the side. He to try and ensure he had the best. Well, he basically was going on. Being he was arguing for the other side. And to help shore up his own convictions and beliefs. So he was arguing from the other side so that he could argue better this Friday. So everyone everyone saw that he was debate that he was debating for Biden, and people kept coming in saying what's going on and stuff. I figured I'd get in on the clickbait and pretend that Andrew Wilson is still a traitor. No, he's not. So, anyways, for whatever fucking reason though, the debate. I didn't watch the debate. I have no idea what's going on with it. But I do subscribe to the Crucible.video, which you can find all his old stuff to watch, but it's not up there for whatever reason. What the hell, Andrew? You piece of shit. How dare you? Not only are you a traitor, but you can't even have the decency to post the the debate on your channel, whether it's on the Crucible or your own your own supporter page. It's not posted there. Did you lose so poorly that you have to hide? Probably not. What actually happened, he's probably just forgot to upload it onto the page, or it's taking a minute for it to actually upload on the page itself. So we're gonna have to go over to his opponent, which is I think a friend of his that frequently is on his show debating stuff. Channel is Normal America with Rob Nor whatever. So yeah, so we're gonna watch it on his channel. I have posted the link to the channel, or to the video itself, in the description. So check that out if you're interested. If you're not, don't. But first, we're gonna get to this Ricada stuff. I'm behind schedule a little bit, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So we may not end up finishing the debate itself. That may have to lead in tomorrow, but that's okay because I am gonna have to do something later today. But anyways, let's get into the Ricada stuff so I can be pissed off, and then I can calm down and be relaxed by listening to some a good debate with Andrew Wilson. So here we go. All right, so I have all the documents that this is concerning, but let's just before we actually go and look at documents, let's hear about the authentication of it. As you can tell, Ricada has changed things in his studio. That's why he's apparently been waiting so long to stream. He was changing things in his studio, and you can tell the background is a lot different now. So here we go. Interesting. He's wearing a long sleeve too. Kind of weird. But here we go. Let's hear what Ricada has to say about the documents leak.
Stream. It was going to be a much longer stream, but first, the release of information that's supposed to be protected at a very specific time, right after I announce the show and right before the show starts, is something that is concerning. And
so he's concerned because now I understand the concernment is that these documents were supposed to be not released or anything, not supposed to be shown, and just when he it's part of the conspiracy, of course, that just when he announced the show, these documents get released. All right, these documents get released. So that's his apparent concern at the moment.
Of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that right away. I know people want to draw conclusions from whatever's going on.
Well, yeah, we do. We are. We're going to draw a conclusion for what's going on. And probably correct conclusions when it's coming from an actual court document and not just hearsay.
And look, there's no way around it. There's nothing to say other than people will get to draw their conclusions from what they read. I'm not here to fight you guys at all. I'm not here to fight your conclusions. I'm not here to fight or justify or prove anything. I don't need to do that for you. Believe it or not, a lot
I was wrong. He's not wearing long sleeves. Never mind. My bad.
of really well-meaning friends want me to do that. And these people are lawyers, which is shocking. They want me. I'll say it this way. They say, Nick, you need to do X, Y, and Z because of your YouTube channel and your online image. And my response is, sir, madam, I don't know if you know this, but the lowest priority in my life right now is my public image for the purposes of YouTube and Rumble.
Now, this is an interesting take of his because I remember in his when he did his Johnny Depp trial and many trials after that, when he talks about public people, he's always stated that, hey, you should talk about your case. You should get your audience involved in the case. That way they can be a part of it, and you'll keep your audience, and they'll support you at the end of your case. Like, you shouldn't hide behind talking about, not talking about your case. You should talk about it as much as you can, and therefore you can show, your audience will continue to support you when at the end of the case, because public opinion, when a trial becomes public, especially a high profile trial, is always bad for you. So as long as you can continue to keep your support from your base, that is the best thing you do. Now that he's on the actual nasty end of the stick, now he's like, hey, I don't care about my public image. It's not important to me. Okay, that might be 100% accurate. It may not be important to you. It probably should be important to you. What should be important, of course, is getting sober and all that stuff. But it's just interesting now he's changed his tune now that he's in the hot seat.
So any of you who want me to come out here and like do some weird grandiose apology or prostrate myself in front of you, let me just help you with my public image right now. Fuck you. Right in your goddamn mouth. I'm not here to worry about what you think about me. And that should be obvious to damn near anybody. And if you think it's in my character to come out and grovel before you and say, oh, I'm so sorry I let you down.
You know what, Nick? You shouldn't really be sorry about letting your audience down. You should be probably more sorry about letting your family down, you piece of shit.
I didn't let you down. I didn't pick.
You know what? Actually, you kind of did let people down, Nick, because you reported yourself as, this trad father and a good man. And it turns out that might not actually be true. People came for you for advice. They thought that you were, someone that they could rely on and count on. And it turns out you're just a druggy scumbag. And I'm going full barrels here because of the documents that we have now. Turns out he is a fucking scumbag.
Pick you up. I didn't make you, and I didn't make promises to you.
That's true. He didn't make us. And it's kind of funny too, because the people that are now against Nick, his so-called the law tube, his audience has gone in. The nose guards have gone in and said, Nick made you. Nick made you. You should be loyal to Nick. Well, now Nick has admitted he didn't make you. He didn't make anyone. So, there's this whole loyalty thing because people owe Nick for making their career. Turns out Nick doesn't agree with his audience. So there we go. That's great.
So if you feel let down by me, let yourself down from the stool, Robin Williams. I'm not here for you.
You're not here for your family either, especially your kids, especially your wife.
I'm not here to own your feelings, and I'm not here to apologize to your feelings and sensibilities either.
You should apologize to your family, your kids, especially, your wife as well, because you're a failed leader of your household. You're supposed to be the man, the leader, and you failed. You're a fucking failure, you piece of shit.
And if I did, you shouldn't respect me.
I don't.
Because anybody who comes out like a little fucking bitch and says, I really am worried about my public image.
You know, that's true. If you come out and you're like, I'm super worried about my public image, you know, they are a little bitch. I agree with you, Nick. But you know, you should be going out. It's like, look, I'm fucked up. I messed up. Um, I do apologize for letting all you down and not being the person I thought you were. That could be, you know, maybe useful. I don't know if that's something that could cause trouble in your legal case. But honestly, you should be apologizing to your kids. I'm sorry, I'm such a poor father that I've caused us so much issues because I needed to do drugs for some reason because I'm so upset with my life or some shit like that.
Not my family, not my liberty, not holding government accountable.
Government accountable for what? What all you've made for is some vague reference that the government's after you. Look, I don't get this this argument that the government's after Nick. Why would the government be after Nick? Like seriously, what makes Nick so important? You know, Robert Barnes tried to talk about how he was talking about corrupt officials in his town or some shit like that. I don't remember him really covering Spicer, Minnesota. Okay, or shit in my Spicer, Minnesota. I don't remember him actually really talking about much in Minnesota. The only thing I heard him really talk about, and I've watched Nick for a while, at least long prior to the downfall, since the Rittenhouse. I don't remember him ever really talking about anyone in particular, especially in his town. Maybe a few politicians here and there, but nothing that like would really warrant let's a conspiracy to plant cocaine and anything like that. So what corruption are you talking about? The only thing I've ever heard him talk about when it comes to like the judges in his state or anything like that, at least close to where he lives, is his own judge, Christine, whatever the fuck her name is, his own judge in his lawsuit. It's the only thing I've ever heard him talk about. So what government corruption are you talking about? he's going full Barnes on the conspiracy theory.
None of that. But my public image, my public image? Well, you're probably a fat Canadian, or maybe a skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city.
Or maybe you're just an honest, decent man who's like, hey, a lot of people were like looked up to you and thought you were, this decent man. And turns out you're just nothing but a scummy druggie.
Or maybe you're a doughy Minnesotan. I don't know who you are, but I'm not here to apologize to you or for anything.
All right. So now that was a big ramble and rant, but here's the thing. The most important part about that is that he basically confirmed that the documents are real. As he said, I have to talk to my lawyer about these documents being released, etc., etc. So now we have confirmation that the documents are in fact real. Which, hey, Nick, isn't a good look for you at all. So instead of ranting on your live stream and having people delete messages on your chat, which is kind of funny too, because oh shit. Let's see if I can pull that up. Okay, so here we go. Sorry. So here you go. There's a $5, £5, sorry, note. Why are Nick's mods deleting super chats talking about extremely serious accusations? That's a really bad look. So apparently during the stream, or at least this one is prior to the stream, Nick's mods were deleting chats when talking about this super important stuff. And again, it's really fucking funny. It's really fucking funny that Nick's always like, "Oh, I don't delete chats. People can say what they want. I don't care. Pay me, blah, blah, blah." Well, apparently you do really care when it turns out that people actually have some shit that they need to say, and it's not just shit talking. It's something backed by actual evidence. So there we go. All right, so let's get to documents. Why am I so pissed off about these documents? All right, why have I now opened up full barrels with these documents? Why? Sorry, I gotta pull everything up now. Sorry, hold on. This shouldn't take very long. I just gotta cause I forgot I can't like just share screenshots and whatnot. I gotta actually share basically the window. Now I have edited out. I have edited out the children's names. They may already be doxxed and everything, but I am not going to participate in their doxing and all that. So I've edited out the names. Don't care that they're already basically they're in. They're like everyone knows the names at this point. I'm not going to continue it. These are children. All you who keep blasting the children's names, fuck you, you assholes. Oh. It's not their fault that their parents are junkie scum. All right, so this is state of Minnesota, county of whatever Candoya, however the fuck you say it. In the matter of the welfare of the children of Kayla Ricada and Nicholas Ricada, parents, findings of fact, conclusions of law, order following a joint emergency protective care hearing and admit/deny hearing. Above entitled matter coming before the undersigned judge of district court on June 6th. So this happened Thursday at the beginning of the month at the Candoya, whatever county courthouse, Wilmer, Minnesota, presented at the hearing with the following: Kristen Pierce. Now, obviously, these are all adults, so this is not wide. So I didn't obviously redact this for obvious reasons. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Sorry. All right, shit. Fucked up. Didn't redact some part of some names. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. I didn't see this one. And again, I know people, I know their names are already in public, but I'm not going to be, part of the ones that continue to put their names up on the internet. That was a mistake. I fucked up there. So here we go. I'm just doing their first laying their first initial through. Okay. I thought I got everything, but apparently I missed that particular one. So I'm sure people will see that. Oh, no. Okay. Well, these documents are public, but I am still doing my best to edit it. I just did this prior to coming on to doing my show. So that was my fuck up there. I should have done it the night before, but I was busy doing other stuff. All right. Here we go. Let's try this again. All right. So this is Christian Pierce, assistant Canandaigua County Attorney. Rachel Mulsberry, assistant county attorney. Alicia Sweeps, county the Health and Human Service. Don Weber, attorney at law with and for Nicholas Requeda. Hold on. Curiosity. It's very interesting. Hold on. Okay, if this is the same Dawn Weber, it's kind of weird that this is Nick's attorney because she apparently is a personal injury attorney, but also a divorce attorney. So could that be something? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it's interesting considering the fact that the attorney he apparently hired, John, was it White? Francis White, I think it is his attorney for his his legal case. Is a family law attorney. So it's a little interesting that that he used a divorce and personal injury attorney for this particular hearing. Now, maybe it was the first lawyer he could get on, to come and do it, maybe, or maybe not. And here's something interesting as well. So, John Mueller, attorney at law with and for Kayla Requeda, that's obviously his wife. Now, this particular guy, if this is the same person, is a family law, criminal law, civil litigation, and criminal defense. So he at least appears to be, a lawyer for his, I'm assuming this would also be the same lawyer that she has for her criminal case. Was it Francis White? Okay, yeah, Francis White. So yeah, Francis White. Let's see. So to June 16th, let's see. When was okay. So again, because it looks like he retained or had Mr. White start being his lawyer on June 13th. And this happened. Oh, my bad. This happened June 6th. So maybe this is Don Weber was just who he could get at the time until he heard back from Francis White, for all I know. But it's just interesting that I don't know if it's telling or not. Speculation at this point that that he hired a divorce lawyer to do this. It's interesting. Carter Grenner, attorney at law, with and for SCHAV. So those are 3 of the 5 children of the Recadas. Let's see. Hold on. So let's see. So that's his son, his 2 sons, and his daughter. Those are the oldest. Let's see. I believe CH is the 16-year-old. AV is the 11-year-old. Like, no, 13-year-old. Sorry, trying to do math. And S is the 12-year-old. Yeah. Okay. Christian Barber, guardian ad litem. Now it's I don't know why it's only these 3 that are here. Maybe because they're the teenagers. I don't know. I don't understand. Legal Mindset will be doing a stream later today, actually in a couple of minutes, in like 40 minutes. So maybe we'll be able to see what's going on there. So the guardian ad litem, if I remember correctly, they're basically like the advocates. Like they have the attorneys, and then there's also advocates that children normally have. So let's see. Individual appointed by the court to represent the best interest of a child or incapacitated person. So yeah, they're basically kind of like guardians for when it comes to like prior to me placing into a system or something, I guess. I don't know. Foster parents also appeared. All parties and participant appeared in person at the beginning of the joint emergency protective care hearing and at admit/deny hearing. The court met the requirements for hearing procedures outlined in M. Minnesota R. Juve P. Proct. All right, so that's page 1. All right. Now here is page 2. Page 2. All right. Based upon the petitions and attachments herein and on the testimony exhibits, the court make the following finding of facts. Subject matter. The children subject of the petition are CH, AV, SY, AUCE. So this is why in some I added the first 2 initials, and in others I just did. Well, it looks like I just just did all of that. But I guess S didn't really need it, but whatever. So let's see, son, daughter, I think it is. Let me see how accurate I am. Oh, no. Son. So the first 2 are the sons, the rest are daughters. Okay. All right. So venue is proper in Caddoya County because the children reside in this county. Parentage, Kayla Recaida is the mother of the minor children. Recaida, Nicholas Recaida is the father of the minor children. Miss Recaida and Mr. Recaida are kind of weird. Is it Miss MRS? Kind of weird. Hold on. It must be a typo. Yeah. So this must be a typo because they do say that they're married. So they shared joint legal and physical custody of the children. A CHIPS petition was filed on May 24th. The alleged statutory grounds listed in the CHIPS petition are incorporated herein by reference. Piram facie finding child protection matter. The court previously found the petition established a prima facie showing that a juvenile protection matter exists that the children are the subjects of that matter. Prima facie finding regarding endangerment. The court previously found that the petition established a prima facie. Okay, I have no idea what that fucking term means. Oh, shoot. Let's see what that means. See, I'm not a lawyer. Let's see. Prima facie is at first view. Okay, so at first view, that's what that means. So at first view, finding. So right before, like when they first did it, that's what this means, I guess. The court previously found that the petition established a first view showing that the children's health, safety, or welfare would be immediately endangered if the children were released to the care of the parents. So this is just an addendum, I guess, that on the petition, the daughter's name, one of the daughter's name was incorrectly spelled. The youngest, actually. So there we go. All right. All right. Just making sure. Mr. Igmatic. Yeah, I know it's a mock debate. It's called clickbait, you dumbass. Why don't you just wait till I get to it? I know it was a mock debate. I'm just fucking around because, again, not yesterday, during his chill stream, Andrew was joking about it, saying like, "Oh, this is gonna get clipped to hell," and I was like, you know what? Why don't I be part of that clipping to hell? And but it's a joke. It was a joke. Clickbait for people to come in and rage about, get my feelings up. That's all it was. I understand it's a mock debate. Don't worry. I know it's a joke. And it's for people just like you to come in and be like, "Hey, it's a mock debate. What are you doing? He doesn't actually support Biden." Yeah, I fucking know. I know. You should have been here at the beginning of the stream. I already said that. Let's see. Where the fuck was I? Oh, there. All right. Page 3. All right. Services. Mr. Ricada. Ms. Ricada were personally served with the summons and petition on May 28th. Motions to intervene. No motions to intervene were made. Yeah, I know. I know, Mr. Igmatic. I know a lot of people were taking it seriously. I understood. I intentionally did that just for this, just to get But no, I watched the chill stream yesterday when he talked about it, and he kept mentioning like there's going to be so much clips of this, and I figured I'd get in on the fun. Don't worry. But yeah, it was intentionally for people to come watch me review it, get my viewers up. It's 100% clickbait. Don't worry. Let's see. The Protection of the Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA, does not apply to this case, probably because none of the children are Indian, I'm assuming. McKenna's Law. The court provides the McKenna's Law advisory to S, C, and AV. Representation. Parents were advised of the rights to be represented by counsel on the record as required by Rule 36. And parents were each represented by an attorney at this hearing. Ex parte hold and order for hearing. Excuse me. The children were placed on a law enforcement hold The date of removal is May 23rd. The facts that warranted removal of the children from the caregiver on an ex parte emergency basis are as follows. On May 23rd, law enforcement officers from the county sheriff's office executed a search warrant at the family residence. During the search, narcotics and drug paraphernalia were located. Parents were placed under arrest, and the law enforcement officers placed the children on a law enforcement hold. Continued EPC hearing. An emergency protective care EPC hearing was scheduled and held on, I'm assuming that means May 28th, 2024. At that time, the parents motioned to continue the hearing for good cause. The court found good cause to continue the EPC hearing to protect the rights of the parties. Sorry. Window. There we go. All right. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Okay. The testimony. The court received testimony from Alicia Sweet, Christy Barber, and Robert Ricada. I'm assuming that's his father. Ooh. All witnesses were placed under oath prior to providing testimony. The court received the following exhibits. Exhibit 1, drug testing of the parents. Exhibit 2, drug testing of the children. Now remember that. So that's important. Protective care determination. All parties and participants were offered the opportunity to cross-examine petitioner regarding the ex parte filing. After receiving additional facts, the court determined that a protective care shall continue. The court makes the following exhibits, explits, whatever, I can't fucking talk. Individualized findings in support of continued placement. I'm not a smart man, okay? I can't pronounce certain words. A KCHHS receives a report involving Mr. Ricada and Miss Ricada. Again, that's weird that it's MS instead of MRS. That's generally how it's spelled when they're married, when people are married. Am I crazy? Oh, okay. Okay, it's Ms. So MS might, okay. Anyway, okay. Never mind. My bad. So Ms. is normally for unmarried. MS does not. It's just feminine, doesn't mean marital status. All right. I don't know. I always thought MRS was married, but I'm just crazy. So law enforcement, the report was that law enforcement was going to the home of Mr. Ricada and Miss Ricada to execute a search warrant. Upon executing the search warrant, the law enforcement found over 26 grams of cocaine, ketamine. Okay, now the ketamine wasn't 26 grams, just the cocaine was. Drug paraphernalia, firearms, and ammunition in the home. Miss Sweet went to the family home while the search was ongoing. At the time, she learned the house was very cluttered. It was difficult to walk around the house without stepping on clothing, bedding, or blankets. AV, SAU, and CE were present at the home when Miss Sweet arrived. CH was not present. Now, if you don't know, CH was his son, I think his oldest son, and he was in the car with Nick when he got pulled over and was arrested. Now, there's a little more detail about the clutter of the home. So, like I said before, we don't, when the body cam footage is shown or we get some more information, we may be able to determine, how neglected the house was. This is stating that you couldn't walk around the house without stepping on clothing, bedding, or blankets. So that means that there was a lot more disarray than initially said in the search warrant. Because it's one thing to like, hey, there's a bunch of clothes in like various areas and stuff. But if it's all on the floor, like a bunch of clothing, bedding, and blankets all on the floor, okay. And it's hard to walk in the house without stepping on any of those, that I would consider a bit more neglectful than a standard home that maybe has some areas where it's very cluttered and maybe some dirty dishes. That's so this is more evidence that there may the neglect and the drug use had caused a lot of neglect, and the house was in a bit of disarray, far more than you would assume from a uh what's it called, from a family of five. Okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. Now this is the part where I got really pissed off, because there was, you could have made the argument that, hey, yeah, they were, there could have been that argument that, hey, they could have been doing cocaine and all that stuff, but they weren't very that neglectful. They, took care of their kids. They just did cocaine. There's that argument all the time. Okay. And, again, apparently from the look of it, the house was, far more cluttered than previously thought, as it was impossible for someone to walk without stepping on clothes. Okay. Sorry. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay. So, that argument, is looking less and less plausible. And it's, sorry, I'm trying to fucking hell. Okay. Whatever. So, after being placed out of the home, the children were subject to the hair follicle drug test. All of the children, except for AU, that's the second youngest. That is, the 9-year-old. Okay. So the 9-year-old tested positive for cocaine at levels of over 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. Now, I'm not sure what that means at all. The 5,000 with a cutoff of 500, or 500, or 5,000, sorry, with a cutoff of 500. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Oh. All right. So, fuck, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I got distracted. So yeah, I don't know what this 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. Hopefully, when Legal Mindset does his analysis, I'll be able to get some more information on that. But his 9-year-old tested positive for cocaine. No one else, none of the other kids. So there could, it's very odd that only one of the kids tested positive for cocaine. So this couldn't be is it possible this was a false positive? Maybe. Again, Nick didn't deny anything on this. He said the documents were real. So I it's so, I mean, what this generally is confirming, regardless if the kid had ingested it or not. What this is showing is the kids actually interacted. At least one of the kids interacted with the drug at some point, which shows further neglect that, it's not looking good for Nick, as it shows further neglect when, your kids, it was one thing when the argument could be made, hey, the drugs were locked in the car, were locked in the uh the 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 bedroom. The kids didn't have any access to it. They couldn't touch it. But it looks like the 9-year-old at least was able to access it at some point, whether to snort it or maybe just some got in her hair or something of that matter. Who knows? Who knows? I don't think this doesn't necessarily mean that AU actually ingested the drugs. It could be that some got in her hair when it happened. I have no, we don't know, but it's showing more and more neglect on the Rekieta side. The fact that one of their 9-year-old and none of the other kids. So it couldn't have been. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. Oh, it was just because there was drugs in the house type situation. Because all the other kids except AU tested negative. She tested positive for some reason. And maybe later on we'll get some more facts in the matter, and turns out it was a false positive. Who knows? I don't know. But at this point, you're at least one of your kids got into the cocaine somehow, Nick. Okay, that's why you should be apologizing to your family, not being on live stream like, oh, my public. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe you should be caring about your kids more. You apparently fucking don't. No wonder they got taken out of your care. Again, this all sounded, it sounded like, all right, look, he may have been doing drugs, but the kids didn't have any access to it. But it looks like it was. There's a lot of neglect going on here, Nick. Mr. Rekieta and Mr. Rekieta each submitted to a hair follicle drug test through Minnesota Monitoring Inc., MMI, on May 30th, 2024. However, KCHHS has not received the results of those tests because subsequent to taking those tests, Mr. Rekieta and Miss Rekieta revoked their release of information, ROI, from MMI and KCHS. Because the ROI has been revoked, KCHHS has been unable to monitor the parents through additional drug testing. It's kind of interesting. Miss Sweep went to the home on May 28th, 2024. She was allowed into the home, but she was not allowed access to the parents' bedroom. Now, I don't know if this means that the parent, like Nick and Kayla, denied access, or she was told she couldn't go into the parents' bedroom. I don't think that was the case. The guardian, the GAL, GAL, is in agreement that it's the best interest of the children to remain in out of home placement at this time. Surroundings or conditions. The children are in surroundings or conditions that endanger the children's health, safety, or welfare, requiring responsibility for the children's care and custody to be immediately assumed by KCHHS, contrary to the welfare and best interests, children out of home. It is in the best interest of the children for care, custody, and control of the children to remain in KCHHS for the purpose of placement with suitable foster care provider. Continued custody of the children by the parents is contrary to the welfare of the children. The placement proposed by KCHHS is in the children's best interest. In making this finding, the court relies upon the best interest factors considered by KCHHS as set forward in the CHIPS petition, which are incorporated herein by reference. It is in the best interest of God damn it. Hold on. There you go. Of the children to remain in foster care until the parents are able to provide a safe environment to something through substantial compliance with the case plan by the correcting the conditions which have led to out of home placement. The placement purpose proposed by the agency is the least restrictive and most home-like setting that meets the needs of children. Reasonable efforts. Given the particular circumstances of the children and the family at the time of the children's removal, there's no services or efforts available that could have allowed the children to remain safe in the home. KCHS is providing reasonable efforts to reunify the children with their parents and to prevent the need for further out-of-home placement. However, those efforts have been hampered by the parents because the parents have revoked ROI, have not been submitting to drug tests, and have not allowed KCHHS full access to the home. Removal date and permanent deadlines. The children were removed from the home on May 23rd, 2024, which is 14 days in an out-of-home placement. The permanency review hearing must be held no later than 180 days after removal, which is November 19th, 2024. If applicable, the permanent petition must be filed no later than 335 days after removal, which is April 23rd, 2025. If applicable, an admit/deny hearing to determine the permanent status of the children shall be held by May 23rd, 2025. Pursuant to Minnesota Stat and subsection, I think that means 26C.503 subdivision, I think 1, admit/deny. An admit/deny hearing was held on June 6th. The parents were each represented by an attorney. The parents were advised of the right to have a trial regarding the CHIPS petition, including the right to testify or call witnesses. At the trial, and to require petitioner to prove it CHIPS petition by clearing and convincing evidence. So that's not beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a preponderant. After consulting with counsel, the parents each enter a denial, I think. Protective order. The parties have agreed to a protective order for discovery. The parents have agreed to waive the timing requirements that the pretrial hearing be held at least 10 days prior to the start of the trial, pursuant to Minnesota RJuv Prot P 48.101. Conclusion of law. It is in the best interest of the children that they shall remain in the protective care of KCHS for the purpose of placement with an appropriate licensed foster care provider. Reasonable efforts. KCHS is providing reasonable efforts to reunify the children with, I've already read that. It's just a repeat. Order. The children shall remain in protective care of KCHS for the purpose of placement with an appropriate licensed foster care provider. Services, examination, and evaluation. The following shall be provided to the children and the family pursuant to Rule 4 2.09. Parents shall each submit to chemical use assessment and shall follow all recommendations. Parents shall abstain from the use or possession of all mood-altering substances except as prescribed by a medical professional. The parents shall submit to chemical testing of any type as requested of KCHHS and/or the GAL to verify abstinence. The parents shall sign all necessary release of information to the service provider. May share information with KCHHS and the GAL or GAL. The parents shall sign release of information from MMI to KCHHS and the GAL, so that the KCHHS and the GAL may monitor and verify the parents' drug testing results. KCHHS shall file an out-of-placement plan provided to the parent parties and foster care providers within 30 days of the court order placing the children in foster care, an order for protective care, or order transferring legal custody to KCHHS, whichever is earliest. Out-of-placement plan shall be filed no later than June 22nd, 2024. So that is in a couple days. Now, for anyone, this has already been revealed, so I have no problem issuing it. But if I remember correctly, the children are with, I think, Kayla's parents. So they're not really in the foster care system. It's just a term, but they are being placed. They are placed in. They're with family, which is good. The terms uh, of parental and sibling visitations pending further proceedings are: visitation between the parents and the children shall be supervised or supervised safety center and or supervised at the KCHHS building by a member of KCHHS staff. Relative search. KCHHS shall exercise due diligence to identify and notify adult family members within 30 days after removal. The agency shall continue to appropriately involve relatives who have responded to the notice. The parents shall cooperate in providing sufficient information to identify relatives. No later than 90 days after placement, the agency shall report. The court, its efforts and decisions regarding placements. The order shall be shared with providers of services under the case plan, and such providers are authorized to share information with each other as necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of the case plan order herein. KCHHS is I'm just going to refer to that as KC from now on. It's authorized as following with respect to the children: to arrange for major medical care and surgery for the children in the life-threatening situation, to arrange appropriate routine medical and dental care for the children, including necessary immunizations and vaccinations for the children, to obtain the child's education, medical, dental, psychological, psychiatric, and dental records, including mental health and chemical dependency records, if any, for the purpose of meeting the children's health needs, and to provide education and mental health services for the children as needed, pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 260C.208 sub 2. KC is authorized. It's specifically authorized to have the following: access to the following data on the children: medical data under blank. Okay, so this is what they're allowed to have: medical data, correction, detention data, juvenile court data, court service data, health records data. Providers of services to children include education, medical, and mental are authorized to release information regarding the children to KC. This shall be shared with providers of services under protection. Providers are authorized to share information with each other as necessary to carry out the intent pursuant to rules of juvenile procedure. The order establish the following deadlines or specific dates for the proceedings in this matter. Deadline for discovery is July 15th, 2024. This include inspection and copies of documents or other tangible evidence. Identify the names and address of all persons intended to be called as witnesses at trial, and shall allow other parties to inspect and copy such witness written or recorded statements within the party's knowledge relating to the case. Identify the names and address of all persons intended to be called as expert witnesses at the trial, the subject matter about which each expert is expected to testify, and summary grounds of grounds for each opinion to be offered. The following additional pretrial preparations and discovery is authorized, and the report of such discovery shall be completed and disclosed to other parties: physical examination, psychological examination, depositions, as proposed. Exhibits must be uploaded to Minnesota Digital Systems no later than July 15th. Information to how to use. Okay. Pretrial motions. All pretrial motions shall be filed and served by July 15th. Pretrial conference. All pretrial conference shall be held on July 15th at 3 p.m. Parties and their legal counsel shall continue to the pretrial conference prepared to determine whether a settlement or any or all issues have occurred as possible. Discuss the issues set forth in the Juvenile Protection Order. Trial, Rule No. 49. Trial in this matter shall begin on July 23rd, 24th, 25th, or 26th at 8:30 a.m. Parties shall be ready to commence trial on any of the given dates. The court will try to notify the parties of the priority status 1 week prior to trial. The trial shall not be continued or adjourned for more than a week. And this is it. Okay. Unless the court finds that continuance or adjournment is in the best interest of the children, trial shall continue and until completed. Trial shall be conducted pursuant to procedure set forth in Rule 49.02. Court settlement conference. The parties shall participate in court settlement conference or other forms of alternative dispute resolution. Hearing locations. All hearings shall be located in the KC courthouse. The order is subject to revision as necessary to serve the best interest of the children and the interest of justice, so long as the permanency timelines are not delayed. All previous orders of the court remain in effect, except explicitly omitted herein. And this is the judge who signed it. So there we go. So Nick has had his children taken away, apparently completely. It looks like he may have some supervision rights and all that. So there we go. Whew. A lot of talking. So yeah, and Nick decides that he needs to go on and bitch and moan about people trying to hold him accountable for his bullshit actions. So Nick is gone complete scumbag. He's so bad that one of his kids even ended up having some sort of cocaine in either sorry, what the fuck? There we go. Fucking hell. Yeah. So like his youngest or his second youngest, the 9-year-old, ended up having cocaine, tested positive for cocaine. What also really is tragic about all this is one of their children suffers night terrors. Nick has talked about this consistently, like throughout his entire a lot of his podcasts, and I can't remember which one. I think it might be the youngest, but one of them, the daughters at least, suffers night terrors. And oh God, I am glad that they're at least in their like grandparents' home, because at least they can be able to sufficiently help, because I'm sure those night terrors have gotten worse since all this has started. You're a fucking scumbag, Nick. You're a fucking scumbag. Piece of shit. And you want to go, at least the kids are with family. That's the only thing I can really be glad about in this situation. But Nick is a complete fucking scumbag. And again, he doesn't need to apologize to me or his community or any of that at all. I do not care about that. He needs to apologize for his children for being a piece of shit who decided, hey, I'm just, just want to do some drugs, man. I want to do that cocaine. And now, and now, your kids are taken away. But I'm just going to go on the internet and bitch and trying to purport some sort of grand conspiracy that no one fucking believes. No one's believing this whole grand conspiracy you're purporting, Nick. No one. Okay, except people that are really trying just to make some money off of you. That's it. All right, moving on. I'm done with this. I got like 30 minutes before I got to do shit, so we'll get 30 minutes in this. As is my tradition, I will be just at 1.5 speed. This is North America with Rob Noor. This is his channel. For whatever reason, this debate is no longer on the Crucible and is not on the either his YouTube channel or the website, because he failed so badly. He was embarrassed how poorly he was. He was so embarrassed that he actually is supporting Biden, that he is ensuring that, guess what, you are that he had to erase it, but Rob Noor, the hero of America, is exposing the traitor. Andrew Wilson. Oh man, I had to like cheer myself. I know that probably wasn't funny to a lot of people, but I need to cheer myself up because I'm really pissed off. So let's get to it. All right, let's get to it. Let's watch this debate. Again, as my tradition, I am going to put it at 1.5 speed. I am also got the closed caption on. So let's listen to this.
Get your clips ready, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure this will be the most clippable openings. Take a moment to thank you for coming on such short notice to moderate this debate. Really appreciate it. And of course, Rob Noor. I'm sure that this is going to be a fun debate to say the least. I will, of course, as the challenger.
Look, Rob Noor is definitely an OnlyFans girl. I don't care what this says. He's definitely an OnlyFans girl. Just look at that. He's just telling on himself.
To the evil and despicable Trump supporter, I will give the first opening statement. I think that that's only fair. I'm sure that if I was on his channel, he would just mute me the entire time because, like a typical Trump supporting scumbag, they don't want to actually hear.
See, look at this. Look at this scumbag, Andrew Wilson.
What reasonable high IQ Democrats have to say. Get your clips ready, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure this will be the most clippable opening statement of the entire year, taken out of context, possibly for the rest of my life. With that, Aircraft Sparky, can you take a second, introduce yourself as a moderator, tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to actually moderate this debate. I know it was on short notice. I'm just glad I could step up and help one of the largest growing debate platforms on the YouTubes, on the internets, the Crucible. I'm Aircraft Sparky. I do political commentary, some slapstick comedy here and there, mostly at my own expense. I do shows on Mondays and Wednesday nights every week at 9 p.m. Central. That's 10 p.m. for you Eastern Standard Time people.
All right, appreciate that. Rob Noor, host of Normal America with Rob Noor. Love the name, by the way. I always have Normal America. I like the idea of normal, but I'm sorry. What does normal mean? But anyway, Rob, go ahead, take a minute, shout your channel out to everybody where they can find you as well.
Sure, I'll be brief because, like the good lefty that Andrew is, he's late, like the lefties always are. They can't keep time. Name's Rob Noor. Like I said, like Andrew said, Normal America with Rob Noor on YouTube. Just Rob Noor as it's spelled there on most other platforms. I usually stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday evenings around 8 p.m. Eastern. Consider myself a libertarian adjacent populist is what I consider myself. Have a lot in common with Christian nationalists in the direction that I think this country needs to go. It's my honor to be here.
I don't care. This guy's an OnlyFans whore. It says he's an OnlyFans whore. Ignore the not and. He's an OnlyFans whore.
Here, helping you prep for a big performance, hopefully. I am...
What? A performance? This is bullshit. No. Andrew is a traitor, and he's part of the... He supports Biden. No. Again, on Friday, he's going to go on Tenet Media, and he's going to actually be debating the pro-Trump side. And so he is taking the opposition side to shore up his own arguments and hopefully do a lot better. And as he normally does, destroy his opponent. So it's very intelligent to go on your side to do the opposite and argue the opposite. So you know the arguments that the other side could potentially make, and that ensures up your side and makes your arguments stronger.
Interested to see how you take it. It is my goal, like anytime I debate Trump v. Biden, because I have the good fortune of being on the correct side of this debate, to allow my opponent to talk about whatever specific topics within this that they want. And so giving the opening statement, I'm interested to see where you take it, and we'll go from there.
All right, I appreciate it very much. Again, gentlemen, both of you, thank you so much for participating. It's going to be very helpful to me. Okay, ready? Get your clips ready, boys, I guess. But from here...
Yes, get your clips ready to expose the traitor. I'm not going to do much more of that, so don't worry.
Rob, I expect some fucking blood sports tonight, buddy. And that's what we're going to do. So let me move back. I'm here today to represent the very best of the Democrat Party and Joe Biden, who are doing a wonderful job for the nation. Comparing Biden to Trump is almost laughable. After all, how do you compare a multiple convicted felon, fraudster, phony Christian, and Skittles candidate to an accomplished Catholic with years of political experience now being deployed on behalf of the American people? To start with, Biden has deported more illegals than Trump did in his entire 4 years in office, and matter prescribed by law, even while many of the southern states are currently participating in anarchy and sedition against the United States by not following their constitutionally protected mandates of the federal government. It's beyond obvious that these laws, for instance...
And that's not really correct, because actually, southern states are not opposing federal law. Nothing in the states like Texas is probably what he's referring to. None of that is actually taking place, as it's not saying that you're going to be arrested and deported if you illegally enter the United States. It's if you illegally enter Texas. So they are just confining stuff to Texas. Is basically the argument, and that what's the word I'm looking for? And also that Fucking hell, man. But the order is only for Texas and that basically means that if you entered from like Canada and came down to through all the states and then entered Texas illegally, I think that no, not even that. No, so it doesn't even matter if you entered through a different state and then entered in Texas. I believe they can't arrest you then. It's only if you entered illegally through Texas that they can do anything of their law. I believe that's accurate.
In Texas, using razor wire and fascist tactics against mostly refugees is nothing more than a photo op opportunity.
Mostly refugees. It's hilarious.
Playing to their base, while the truth of the matter is Biden is indeed enforcing border laws better thus far than Trump ever did. Next, I'd like to move to lockdowns. I don't know how Biden gets blamed for those, considering Trump himself is at the helm of Operation Warp Speed, working in collusion with Big Pharma and Ouchie Fauci to get out the schmaxine, and then went on a publicity tour promoting it. Rob's cope here will be that Trump allowed the states to implement the policies they wanted on the lockdown orders, but so did Biden. Both look to the medical community and the advice of experts in order to best serve the American people. Next, I'd like to mention the economy. Blockbuster day on Wall Street today. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't know if Rob saw, but the state of the economy seems to be quite good. Gas prices aren't particularly high, and they are going down. They're decreasing. Inflation is under control, though a bit high. That's to be expected. Latest economic indicators don't spell doom and gloom, but quite the opposite. This after dealing with Trump's vanity stimulus checks, which shot inflation through the roof, kicking the can down the road for you and I. Investment capital is high, consumer spending is high, and this doom and gloom projection of the economy is a total, out of control, and provenly false narrative. Yet another failed prediction. It's yet another Democrat president dealing with the drunken spending of an out-of-control, provenly felonious Republican administration. In this debate, all I have to do really is prove Biden is just a hair better than Trump, and I've achieved victory. That's it. And I think based on the policy prescriptions, I can do just that. I have an arsenal ready of Biden policies, which have shifted to the working class for the corporate bailouts common under Trump and his failed policies. These include gun policy, pharmaceutical ease of access, expanding a woman's right to choose, more inclusivity, the LGBTQ, not to mention a move towards science with renewable power to combat global warming. He also recognized predatory banking activity of the hidden fees associated, which directly harmed the middle and lower classes of the United States and the poor and minorities, not to mention expanding our military drone army to keep Americans safe. Trump was busy banging porn stars and paying out hush money since he's an immoral scumbag, while Biden was busy raising a family and following Christian ethics instead of opportunistically grifting the evangelical community, which is full of low IQ religious wacko.
It's just funny. Now, again, he's just using as much of the information that his leftist opponent is probably going to be using. It's kind of funny considering he just mentioned Christian ethics, while Biden is supportive of the LGBTQ community and all that stuff. And all that. So it's really funny to hear this. It's really funny seeing Andrew being on the opposite side of things and making most, like, if you really know it, a lot of that right there was just ad hominems. He banged porn stars and shit like that, paid them off.
Who he then incited into violence over and over again. There's a whole lot more here I'd like to get into, but with that, I yield my time.
Outstanding. Thank you for that opening statement. And we will now go to the, I'm assuming the pro-Trump side. That would be Rob Noor. Rob Noor, you were on the clock.
Okay, thanks so much. Glad to hear that Brianna Wu finally got to Andrew with Progressive Victory Pack. I'm sure he's being paid handsomely for his words here today. So there's really three ways to look at Trump v. Biden. And it's ironic. Basically, the majority of the things that Andrew's saying at the top are arguments for Biden, when in reality, they're not for Biden at all. They're just saying, well, Biden's not as bad as what some people say, which isn't going to be enough to cut the mustard. You could look at foreign policy, which we'll spend time talking about, although briefly. We're on the cusp of World War III. In fact, it was just reported before I came on that it appears Russian warships are now visible from the state of Florida, which is great. We're going to have another Cuban Missile Crisis, and haven't had that in my lifetime. So fantastic. You get to see what my grandparents lived through. He is a disaster when it came to the withdrawal of Afghanistan, the way in which he did it. He made us look buffoonish, cost American troops their lives, cost our allies their lives. Russia has been emboldened because of the terrible decisions that Biden's made and the Biden administration has made, which led to Russia having that sort of invasion. Also, Russia understands how feckless the Biden administration is, which also emboldens them. And even China is getting more aggression with places like Taiwan and other places, which seems to make sense, seeing as how one of the first things Biden did was stop a task force that was looking into the pandemic, that was looking at the origins of where that pandemic came from. Suspiciously, Biden, the big guy that's getting 10%, seems to quite frequently only pay lip service to being harsh to China. But when it comes to the most important things, such as holding them accountable for actions such as creation of the pandemic, all of a sudden, he seems very interested in not criticizing on that front. So foreign policy, we're closer to World War III than we've been at any point during my lifetime. It is cut and dry. The best argument that Andrew or any Democrat will be able to make is, but none of this is Biden's fault. It's all Trump's fault. And this is the gaslighting that they seek to do all the time. The buck stops with everyone but them. Years and years of disastrous foreign policies from the administration and people within this administration, particularly unelected bureaucrats that are now part and parcel of this administration, have led us to this point in history where the United States, the most powerful and greatest country in the history of the world, is now losing its leadership both in soft power and hard power on the world stage, drawing us closer to a multipolar world that will be a world of conflict because of the ineptitude of people like Andrew Wilson is defending in the Biden administration, who's been in office. You're right, he has had a lot of experience, hasn't he? 40 years exacerbating all the problems we see. Then we have domestic policies. Happy to talk about immigration. One of the things that I think is hilarious is he says Biden's deported more people. No shit, when you open the border and allow record numbers to come in every month, there's a larger pool of people for you to send out from. Just today, we see Biden out there pushing his amnesty bullshit. And make no mistake, that is the intention, to have a compliant population and replace the people of this country. It's not just about skin color or anything like that. It's about having...
Not also to mention, but also to mention this is the fact that, the fact that, fuck, what's the word of it? Is Biden also spent forever, saying, I need more power to do anything about the border. I need more power to do anything about the border. And then turns out, like a couple weeks ago or something like that, he ends up actually using the power he already has to shut down. He did an executive action to restrict the legal immigration. I can't remember the exact executive action at this time. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, so he just increased the security at the border. Something he claimed he needed the Congress to do, but then it turns out that's false. He didn't need to do anything. He's temporarily shut down asylum requests and all that. So he said, "Oh, I need this. I need extra power for me to do this. Give me extra power." Turns out he didn't actually need extra power.
People that you have trustworthy, that don't have the values of America and don't have the values of sort of Christianity and worship the government above all else. That's what this replacement is about. And that's exactly what Biden's seeking to achieve by doing this. The economy is a disaster. Yes, we can see that inflation's going down, but for those of you that don't really understand how this works, when they say inflation's going down, that doesn't mean that your products are getting cheaper. That means the rate in which the price is rising is decreasing. Because we had record levels of inflation. And that's if we trust the government numbers, which are bullshit over and over. But even if we trust them, we can see how bad inflation was. People are suffering all over the place. Gas prices, although they may be dipping down a little now, has much to do with Biden deploying all of the strategic reserves, trying to buy votes just like he's done in the past, what he's trying to do with the forgiving of student loan debt, etc. And so because he's depleted the strategic reserve, things are going to get much worse in the near future. Also, we can see that GDP is going down. The question you should ask yourself is this, not, is this economy okay? It's not, as people could see. We could go through a list of the prices of things. Some things going up 50 to 80%. But the question you should really ask is, given the trillions upon trillions of dollars that Biden spent, on pace to spend as much, if not more than Trump, who spent during a pandemic, is this all we get, the bang for our buck? I think $7.7 trillion at last reading that Biden has spent during his administration, and this is it? If you gave me $7.7 trillion, do you think I'd be able as president to have more money in the average American's pocket? Absolutely. Because this is another socialist scheme of transfer of wealth from the poor and working class to the upper class, just like anytime they do this mass money printing. I believe the M2 money supply, which is the total money in circulation, has increased 50% since right before Biden came in office and his tenure in office. And surprise, surprise, the very people that told us that wouldn't cause inflation were wrong, and it has caused inflation. There is arguments to be made that Republicans and Trump were bad in their spending. I don't disagree with that. That's certainly true. However, the question is Biden better than Trump? No. Biden wanted to spend even more and would have been worse when it came to lockdowns. It would have been worse when it came to the spending. The last thing I'll say is issues of culture and corruption. Biden is corrupt. We can talk about that at great length if Andrew would like, but I'll leave him steer the direction of this. However, culturally, I used to know this guy that ran this channel, The Crucible, that understood how important these cultural issues are, and he would be aghast at someone calling Biden a good Catholic or good Christian. The values he has, what Christian values are that? I'm sorry, can you tell me chapter and verse in the Bible where it talks about the importance of sniffing little kids' hair, or denying the existence of your granddaughter, or supporting abortion up until the third trimester? I missed those passages in my reading of the Bible. Granted, I'm not a studious.
I forgot the abortion law shit too, but yeah, the LGBTQ, abortion, all that stuff. So don't forget the LGBTQ.
As some people that would call themselves Christian nationalists, but he's an abomination. All of the worst things that you see that come from the excesses of the left, the trans storytelling, the sexuality of children, all of this stuff is represented by Joe Biden. And a further presidency of Joe Biden will mean that these things become even more entrenched in all of our institutions, harming our children even more. Last thing I'll say, the buck stops with Biden, even though it is absolutely true that he is a dementia-addled vegetable that has no idea where he was. But don't leave Andrew and Democrats gaslight you that that's not the case, or somehow he's not to blame for these disastrous things. He is just an empty suit for the establishment that is marching us through, destroying Christianity and destroying this great country in its inexorable march to a globalist society that will ensure that all of us are just cogs in a machine and we worship the government amongst everything else.
Outstanding. Coming in at 6 minutes and 44 seconds. You used up almost all your time there. Great use of time there, Rob. We now open it up. Andrew, if I'm correct, we have what, an hour and a half?
Fucking biased moderator
Already?
You're going to immediately compliment the opposition.
Yep,
Typical
time
fucking
management.
Republican, huh?
Time.
Oh man, yes. Just be biased. Destroy this traitor, Andrew Wilson.
Management, brother.
Yeah, that's not biased at all. No, it's fine. It's cool. It's not biased. Yeah, it's fine.
You're absolutely correct, and I humble myself before the interwebs. But is it an hour and a half or is it 1 hour?
Give it about an hour 15. Don't let us stick any longer than 15 minutes on a topic. Unfortunately, the two of us can get bogged down pretty easy. So move it along, even if we don't like you for it. So Rob, let's start with this idea of Christian ethics and that Biden is somehow a terrible Catholic, but Trump is somehow a great evangelical. Okay, so Trump, it's beyond obvious, paid hush money to Stormy Daniels. He was convicted on basically every single count. Talking about this hush money, which was paid out. His own lawyer has confirmed that this is true. He was banging porn stars while he was married.
Yeah, well, it may be true that his lawyer confirmed that this is true. Guess what? His lawyer is a known scumbag and fucking liar. He admits he lies all the time. This is, and besides his lawyer's word, there's nothing else that is, there's nothing else that has shown that Trump actually knew that this was that Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels prior to it happening, and that the money he was giving to Cohen was a part of a reimbursement of his of the money. So there's no actual proof of any of that. It's just Conan's word because trust me, I'm Conan.
He has a philanthropist pass, right? Or a philandering pass. He's been philandering all over the fucking place. How in the world can you say that this guy is a good Christian exactly? How?
Well, I didn't say that.
I was just about to point that out. Yeah, he never actually said that Biden's a good Christian. Didn't really say that.
And nor would I try to make that argument. In fact, there are things both as a Christian or just as a person that has any sort of morality in respecting the institution of marriage. I don't respect anyone that cheats on their wife. I think that is a pact between.
Do you agree that Trump did?
Yeah, I'd say that he most certainly did. Whether he did specifically with Stormy Daniels is open for debate, but it's undoubtable that Trump at some point cheated on his wife. My point is this. You're the one talking about Joe Biden.
Character,
I understand, like a good lefty, need to interrupt. You're the one talking about ethics and about Joe Biden is the person that actually had good ethics. You can't dispute anything that I said about his sniffing of children, inappropriate showers with his daughter, refusing to acknowledge the existence of his granddaughter. But more importantly than all of that stuff, I care about the actual policies that will be instituted. I'll tell you this, Donald Trump wasn't locking grandmothers up that were praying for people going into abortion clinics for 10, 15 years at a clip. That's what Joe Biden is. That's the sacrament that Joe Biden represents.
Hang on. One point at a time before you gish gallop away to the next point. Like you very often do. You gish gallop. It's going to be 14 fucking points. Let's do 1 point at a time. Let's start with this idea of the hair sniffing and the child grabbing and the blah, 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 blah. Has Joe Biden ever been convicted of doing anything ever which has been untoward sexually towards anybody, Rob, ever?
No, but it's irrelevant to the question.
Now, Trump, though, you would agree, is a multiple convicted felon, right? And that did have to do with sexual relations with a woman who was a porn star, right, Rob?
That's true. However,
yeah,
the institutions themselves are corrupt. The obvious nature of the politicization of these systems, for example, the E. John Carroll, they literally had to change the law to go after him. She claimed that she was sexually assaulted while she was wearing a dress that wasn't created until 2 years later. She claimed that this happened in the middle of a department store, but there were no contemporaneous witnesses. She couldn't remember any of the
He wasn't prosecuted for that.
Yes.
He wasn't prosecuted for that.
He was found civilly liable for that. And as far as the Stormy Daniels, thing, he was found guilty of campaign. It's so convoluted.
He paid hush money, dude. He paid hush money to a prostitute.
Is that what he was convicted of, paying hush money to a prostitute? Go ahead, explain the case to me. Like any good Democrat, explain exactly what the charge against Donald Trump was in that case.
Okay, so my understanding is that the charges which were against him was that he directed campaign money away that was supposed to be going to his campaign back to himself as reimbursement because he paid his lawyer to give hush money to a prostitute.
That is incorrect. And I'm unsurprised as a Democrat that you would not have the details of this. So as you can see, what Democrats are keen to do is talk about how important these cases are, but they don't even have the most basic details. What he was charged with was as follows. He was charged with falsifying records, which the statute of limitations ran out. So they had to go with a felony that said the falsification of records were in the commission of a separate crime. That separate crime was basically election interference, which requires a third crime to have been committed, unlawful means. The third crime was never specified, and the judge said it could have been one of any three, which had to do with tax violations, which ended up resulting in Trump paying more in taxes, falsifying records again, which is circular, or FECA violations.
Records about what?
Falsifying records about that have to do with campaign expenditures. Now,
campaign expenditures for what?
What do you mean for what?
What were the campaign expenditures going towards?
The argument was you're misrepresenting what was said anyway.
Oh, I'm misrepresenting,
right?
Huh?
Because your argument was that he redirected campaign finances back to pay off. That's not true. What he was charged with was accepting a loan beyond the contribution limit for an election. Right?
To do what? To do what?
To pay Stormy Daniels.
That's right. To pay hush money to a prostitute, Rob.
What Rob should point out here is hush money isn't illegal. Paying someone hush money isn't illegal. So I hope Rob points it out, but he should definitely point out that, yeah, paying someone hush money, it's not illegal.
Talk about the morality of paying.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. How is that ethical?
We could talk about that. My point is, like every good Democrat, you don't even have the specific details of the case.
Oh my God, that's pedantry. That's not.
It has
that's
nothing
pedantry.
to do with. It has nothing to do with being pedantry. It has to do with, for the first time in history, we have charged and convicted a former president, this case of a felony, for a crime that they basically made up, saying that he committed campaign finance violations. That the actual FEC that looked into it said there was no campaign finance violation. And the fact that you want to just say, yeah, we banged a porn star, that makes him immoral. Again, it's your argument. You're saying that Biden was the one that has Christian ethics, which you can't defend. You're falsely saying. Let me finish. You're falsely saying that I said that Trump in his personal life exhibits Christian ethics. I did not say that. I said that Biden can't be the one to figure.
You okay? When we got into the actual details though of what he was doing with this, it ends up being, well, he was paying hush money to a prostitute. But okay, let's just assume, oh, you're not upset about that. You're upset that, oh, they falsely accused him of some kind of campaign finance violation, which they shouldn't have. He most definitely did pay hush money to a prostitute named Stormy Daniels. How in the world? By the way, you defended that. You defended that for months. You defended that he likely didn't do that. You defended for months that you didn't believe it. You did. You did it on Normal America. I saw it.
It's a lie.
I saw it. You said for sure you were like, there's no good evidence here that he ever did that.
Oh man.
Actually, there's still no evidence that he actually did it. All the evidence we have is that Michael Cohen did it, and what he says is that Trump knew about it. That's all we actually have of it. It's all we have, really, of that. It's yeah.
Wow, really taking the lefty tack, just making shit out of full cloth. No, I never said that. What I said was likely the whole time was that he probably slept with Stormy Daniels. He probably did pay hush money. That was something that seemed obvious to me. However, this is something that politicians do all the time, including members of Congress that have used $17 million from a slush fund that our taxes go to pay for, to pay NDAs for women that have accused them. I don't have to like those personal actions. The personal actions of Joe Biden I find to be far more egregious, such as showering inappropriately with his daughter, refusing to acknowledge the existence of his granddaughter. The point I'm making is, at best, it's a wash for Biden. And if we accept that, not to mention allegations of him sexually assaulting Tara Reid, at best, then we would say, well, pragmatically, which direction will the country go in? Will the country be more Christian in its policies with Joe Biden or with Donald Trump? Well, we see what Joe Biden brings. Go ahead, tell us how you're very excited, for example, at all of the trans story times and things like that we see that are all the DEI
and we're going to get into the inclusivity.
Sure.
I'm not going to let you fucking pivot like a typical Republican off of this fucking point. This is what you fuckers always do. Again, is it or is it not morally fucking reprehensible that Donald Trump banged a porn star and then clearly paid hush money to his attorney to shut the bitch up?
I do not find that to be morally acceptable. I think that is an example of weak moral character. Now, let me explain what Andrew Wilson here has done. He has been unable to defend that Joe Biden is not a more weaker moral character. He's been unable to defend that the policies that will be implicated will be far more antithetical to Christian beliefs if Joe Biden's in office. And instead, what he's doing is gaslighting everyone that I've made a position that I never had. I never said that Donald Trump is a moral individual. I didn't say it in my opening statement.
You totally fucking pretended.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing.
There we go.
It was a campaign finance.
There we go.
Nothing to do with paying off.
Wow. First he comes in late like a good little lefty, probably getting paid money from progressive dark money. And now he takes the left-wing tactic of, well, I can't actually argue the facts of what's been said in this debate, so I'll try to gaslight my audience into believing Rob said something. Can you show me the timestamp? Where did I say? Can you tell me where I said that Trump was an ethical, moral Christian? Was it in my opening statement?
So he's not an ethical, moral Christian?
I don't believe so. I believe he's
right. From a moral standpoint, we're already starting from the even point that both of these men are immoral. Using your own logic, they're both at least immoral, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it. So now I think we move on to the next. Let's get into this idea.
Just to be clear, you won an argument against yourself and have said nothing.
How did I win it against myself?
Because it was never an argument. It was never an argument that I made. You're trying to make the argument that we should ignore the fact that we want to embrace Christian ethics, that a government of Joe Biden is far worse than the government of Trump. And the way you're attacking that is by saying the way you're attacking that is by saying, well, Trump banged a porn star and paid hush money, so he's immoral as well. And isn't that true that he's at least equal with their morality? I don't think that puts him equal with Biden. I think Biden's worse. I think showering with your daughter in an inappropriate way is far worse.
Prove that he did it.
His daughter said so in her own
diary. His daughter said so.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, that proves it then. It's not like we.
Well, all we got from but all we got from the whole Stormy Daniels thing is that Conan said so. Again, there's no evidence that Trump knew this was a reimbursement or that he knew prior to any of that this was a repayment to Stormy Daniels. Now, did he do it? Obviously, he fucking did it. More than likely he did it. But there's no actual proof of evidence in a court of law that this is true.
We had, a giant court case recently with Trump where he got found guilty on 34 fucking counts related to this hush money case. And that's actual evidence in the court of law. And he was found guilty. On the other hand, though, your issue of, well, Biden's equally as evil.
Again, Rob, you should point out that the only evidence you have that Trump did this is Michael Cohen's word, and Michael Cohen's a known liar.
Your proof is because the daughter said so. Oh, okay, then, Rob. Believe all women, Rob. Hashtag believe all women, right? Right? That's what we're doing. We're going to believe all women, Rob?
I would believe that she wouldn't have a reason to make that up. And the idea, again, what you're conflating is...
Again, Rob, you need to point out that all we have... hold on. But again, Rob needs to point out that all we got from, the only evidence we have that Trump of the evidence against Trump is that Michael Cohen, a known liar and a liar that has specified multiple times that he lies for personal interest, that the Trump case is personal to him. That's all we have of the case against Trump with this hush money deal. So yeah, that's what Rob should be pointing out here.
Someone inappropriately sexual contact with a child versus consensual adults having an affair, which I don't support and find it immoral, but there's different levels to the depravity and immorality, as you well know. And again, all of it's a red herring to a point that I never made into this debate. I would say even if a candidate that embraced the policies of Joe Biden was a better Christian in their personal life than Joe Biden, if that resulted in abortions on demand, sexualization of our children, etc., I would still prefer the immoral person in their real life to be president than the person who is more moral in their personal life.
That makes no sense.
Of course,
that makes no sense. Okay, so from my standpoint, I say at least even from your worldview, both of these men are immoral men. From your worldview, you can see this is true.
Correct.
But then when we look at the evidence for even why you think that Biden is equally immoral to Trump, you say because his daughter said so.
It's one argument I made, and my argument.
And all Andrews Wilson position again is because Conan says so. Again, that's all we have for the Conan case, for the hush money case, is Conan says so. That's all we got. There's no other evidence. All right, they didn't call Weiselberg. It's just a known liar. Because what we have here is on Andrew's side, we have a known liar. A known liar. He's lied multiple times. That's what Rob should be pointing out, and I think that's what Andrew's probably going to point out at the end of the debate. Again, this is a mock debate, so don't worry. But that that Conan is a known liar. Okay, he's been proven, in fact, to be a known liar. He's lied before Congress. He's lied to police. He's lied to everyone. He is a known liar. Okay, versus Ashley Biden, who isn't a known liar. She's just a woman. As far as we know, she's just a single, she's just the daughter of Biden. That's all we have. So we got a known liar versus Ashley Biden. That's her name, right? Ashley Biden. So that's the thing. And we can get into convoluted of like, oh, well, it's a court of law, he's under oath, blah, blah. Well, Conan has lied under oath before multiple times.
Isn't that he's equally. That was
your weak fucking argument, just based on hearsay.
So what you can see is clever, and I'm appreciating that Andrew's doing this because again, it is emblematic of a good Democrat. He's conflating two different ideas. On one hand, he's conflating the idea that any act of immorality is on par with other acts of immorality, which is just nonsensical. For example, it would be immoral to lie. However, lying is not as immoral as inappropriate sexual contact with a child. That is a level of immorality that's worse. And so he conflates and says, well, they're both have done immoral things, which is true. I would say almost everyone's done immoral things, but I think cheating on your wife's a level of immorality that we deserve to call out. Then he says on the second hand, he says, oh, well, we can't believe the accusations against Biden because it's just hearsay, but we have to accept this court case. But again, the court case isn't saying that he was found guilty of banging Stormy Daniels. It's irrelevant as to whether or not he actually had sex with her. They didn't have to find that he had sex with her.
You just know that he did.
We know that Joe Biden inappropriately showered with his daughter. We know that he was accused. Of course we do.
No, we don't. How is that known? It's just an accusation in a fucking diary.
Can you explain to me why his daughter in a diary that she did not intend for people to see would make up a lie?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly because her father happens to be the most powerful man in the world and it would bring a whole lot of attention to her, like what happens with women all the time, gives them perverse incentives.
In a private diary that she had to sue for being released to the public.
Oh, so she's retracting that happened?
Retracting that what happened?
So is she actually making a public accusation that her father did that?
She hasn't spoken on it, to my knowledge.
Oh, so then your proof is no proof.
No, my proof is when someone says something in private when they don't expect other people to hear it, and they make an accusation against someone that they would stand to benefit not making that accusation for, I tend to take that more face value than, well, a bunch of 12 people that were on a jury that hate Trump.
Rob's problem here is Andrew's doing a good job. He's just saying, well, we got a court document on all you got is a single person. What Rob needs to do here again is point out the fact that Conan is also a known liar. That's kind of valuable. It's important because he's lied under oath multiple times before. And he has far more incentive to, and I think maybe Andrew's trying to lead Rob to this, but he has far more incentives to lie than he does have to tell the truth. And well, Ashley Biden, it's a private diary that she had no idea was going to be released. And Rob didn't point this out, but she sued because she claimed that the diary was stolen and all that. So that she didn't retract what was in the diary. What she sued for was the return of a stolen diary that wasn't really stolen because she accidentally left it because she's a dumb bitch.
district that overwhelmingly was against Trump, said he paid hush money, so that means he's more immoral. And again, I understand wanting to stay hyper-focused on this point because you can't defend the record of Joe Biden. I never made the argument that Trump was wrong. And lastly, I'll say this. Andrew started off this saying, we can at least say that on a ground, they're both coming from a position of immorality. Hasn't said word one about the actual policies that come out and how they're more anti-Christian.
Okay, I'm happy to shift to the policy if you will just admit that the only proof that you have of Biden doing any of this horrible, all of this horrible touching, inappropriate touching of children is not from an actual eyewitness coming forward and saying and accusing.
Well, again, Rob should also point out we've seen video evidence of him sniffing kids, which is very fucking weird. We got video evidence of that as well. Hopefully Rob points it out.
Him of that, but from some fucking diary that any girl could have written about anything.
No, that's one example. I said, for example, there were multiple women before Biden was running in 2020 that came out and said he had inappropriate sexual contact with them. We could see with our own eyes his inappropriate sniffing and sexualization of children. We could see from Tara Reid her specific accusation of sexual assault. We could see the immorality of ignoring the existence of his only of one of his granddaughters. All of this is beyond hearsay. This is absolute provable. You have no argument against any of it. You know it exists. You'll just have to pretend like every good Democrat that actually Biden's the sharpest man in the world behind the scenes and don't believe your lying eyes with everything you see.
Well, actually, Trump's the most moral man in the fucking world.
No one made
taking all kinds of women and cheating on his wife and being a horrific bastard.
No one made that argument in this debate.
I mean, you did.
I did not.
You said that it's completely immoral that he did that.
Timestamp.
Gentlemen, this is great television, but we need to move on. There's more than just the
Saved
morality.
by the fucking moderator? Really? You're gonna get saved by the
Actually, I was
moderator?
going to give you the last. I was going to give you the last word on this, Andrew, so we can move on because I think you do need the last word in this.
All right, fine, whatever. So you see how Rob easily falls into a basic logic trap like a fool. I explained, aren't both of these men equally immoral? He says, well, at least they're equally immoral. They're both at least equally bad. I even used the word equally on purpose to make sure that he confirmed it. He fucking confirmed it. And then what happens when I say, okay, even if I'm granting you that at least puts us on the same moral playing field, that you're still going to vote for an immoral man, and I'm going to vote for an immoral man. But then when I ask him for the evidence of the immorality of Biden from his sexual antics, he has, this fucking diary once. No eyewitnesses, nobody coming forward with an actual accusation. Nothing. He has fucking nothing.
Want me to respond on? You ready to get to something?
Yeah, I'll give you the last word, and then we'll get into policy. Sure.
Nothing is an interesting way of ignoring everything that I just said, ignoring the existence of his granddaughter. The multiple women that came out with the accusations of inappropriate touching of Joe Biden. Tara Reid and her accusation that came out with it.
I would say that the people saying it's not a good argument. I would go with the more stronger argument is we fucking seen it. We've watched the video and we've seen it. We've seen him sniffing kids, which is weird as fuck.
Came forward of sexual assault, way worse than consensual sex with a porn star. The sniffing of children that we see routinely. But yes, it is true that his daughter, in a particularly egregious case, in a private diary, did also say that she felt that she was screwed up for her life because she had inappropriate sexual showers with her father. Now, I understand that Andrew wants to hyperfixate on the immorality of Trump, but sleeping with a porn star and cheating on your wife, as grotesque as that may be, does not rise near to the level of any of the other things that we talked about Joe Biden, most of which are uncontested. He literally said nothing and just said, oh, Rob's only talking about a diary. I will give Andrew credit for being a good lefty Democrat here, though. He's arguing quite fluently like them and getting smacked down like I routinely do to all these people. Next.
Oh, yeah. Just declare that you won the debate, and it means you did, Rob. I
learned from the crucible on that one.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess moving on to the next point, if you don't mind, let's bring up the idea of the evil Russian battleships, which are going to institute World War III on the United States. Can you explain when you believe that this massive apocalypse is going to happen from the Russian military, Rob? When do you think we're going to be under the apocalypse of Russia? Is that going to happen soon? Few months? When?
It's hard to say. The biggest threat of this actually isn't a purposeful act of aggression by either the United States or Russia. One of the reasons that the Cold War was so scary was the idea of miscalculation, which is the idea that because there's such high tensions and weapons in close proximity to both of these countries, and both of these countries have sort of a first use type mindset that they're not going to go down if they feel that they're going to be obliterated, there's a chance of miscalculation. And so one person might be threatened and launch some sort of attack. This is irrelevant to the greater story of what I was telling you.
You brought it up.
I brought it up as yet another example that's contemporaneous to today of the actual world being on fire. Trump left with historic peace deals in the Middle East. With Biden, we have conflict with Israel, Palestine, Russia invading Ukraine, China aggressing towards Taiwan, BRICS nations becoming stronger than ever, the United States getting into another Vietnam as quagmire, where they're deploying their military readiness, the United States losing its economic superpower, its status as an economic superpower, the dollar no longer being as considered. Just the other day, Saudi Arabia, for example, for the first time in nearly 15 years, decided they're not going to exclusively trade oil in U.S. dollars.
But so what? That doesn't mean anything. What do you think the ramifications of Saudi Arabia not using the petrodollar, which, by the way, if you understand what the petrodollar do you even know what it is? What is it? What's the petrodollar?
Petrodollar is the idea that the dollar is the reserve currency when it comes for the OPEC nations to trade their energy.
Yeah, okay. So in the OPEC nations, this is true. Yeah. Guaranteed by the United States Navy, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is the United States Navy going to stop protecting Saudi Arabia?
No, but that's not the issue.
No,
right,
they're not. And do you know why they're not? They're not, because we're still going to have the same amount of oil imports and exports from Saudi Arabia. The petrodollar is not going to do anything. It didn't do shit to the markets. Even the announcement did nothing to the markets. It doesn't matter. Saudi Arabia trades in the petrodollar. They've never been in some formal agreement where they had to begin with.
So the problem is, it's not that the United States wouldn't continue to protect. Of course, the United States is still, because of the disastrous policies of Joe Biden, is still going to be reliant on nations like the OPEC nations for our energy needs. And so we have every reason to want to continue to secure. The problem with the removal of the petrodollar is that it is the first step to signifying to the world that the United States is no longer the global reserve currency and the dominant factor. And what's going to end up happening is, because we've had Joe Biden send a signal to the OPEC nations. Let me finish. Joe Biden ran on the promise that he would put fossil fuel companies out of business. And so Saudi Arabia and the OPEC nations see the writing on the wall that they're going to have to start trading with other global partners because Biden right now is over a barrel because he needs to try to buy votes to win the election. But as soon as him and his administration...
Let me respond so you don't fucking filibuster the whole debate. Let's start with this. Let's start with this idea that if the Saudi Arabia stops engaging in the petrodollar, that suddenly there's going to be, do you think that suddenly there's going to be mass economic collapse and that other nations, other OPEC nations are going to stop trading with the United States in oil because they're not going to, Rob? And not only that, it doesn't weaken our dollar at all.
No,
it's never weakened our dollar. It's not weakening our economy. It's not some grand signal to other nations. The world reserve currency is still the dollar, and it's going to remain the dollar. Where else is it going to go? What else are we going to use? They keep on saying that they're going to use crypto. They're not going to fucking use crypto. So what do you think they're going to get moved to other than the dollar as world reserve currency? Nothing.
They'll probably go to several currencies from sort of economic trading blocks is where the direction is likely to happen. If you decide that as the United States, you're the reserve currency, and you can over a 3-year span print 50% of dollars into existence, what that does is the rest of the world sees that the currency is no longer stable. If you're OPEC and you hear a promise from the leader of the United States that he's going to put you out,
been stable.
Let me finish, lefty. Keep pumping on that phallic cigarette like any good lefty. Let me finish
keep on
my
chopping
point.
down those cheeseburgers while you fucking talk shit about me smoking.
No cheeseburger here. I do that after I crush lefties like you to have a satisfying midnight snack. But you'll see happening is that these nations are going to start realizing out of necessity that even though it's beneficial right now to still have the U.S. currency as the world reserve currency and to have the petrodollar and still have they're going to start pursuing other relationships because they see the writing on the wall. And the United States has gone from the and keep in mind, it's not just about Joe Biden. That's one bone I'll throw you. It's about the people that are really running the Biden administration, the unelected bureaucrats in places like the State Department, in places like the intel agencies, and in other institutions in this country that have taken this great country of the greatest country in the history of the world that had economic, cultural superpower and military superpower, and it has pissed it away for their own personal benefit and for their globalist allies. And so now the average person in this country's labor has been sold out to the rest of the fucking world, and we're going to suffer for it. Your children will suffer, which luckily you decided to have kids before you became a fucking lefty, or you'd probably just be having something in the ass.
Leading everywhere except to the point of the actual petrodollar. So let's.
All right. So this was entertaining as hell. I don't have enough time to finish this, so we will finish it tomorrow. We'll continue with this watch. Hopefully Andrew Wilson will post this back up to his website so I can watch it there and give him credit where it's due. But he probably lost his debate so bad he's embarrassed by it, so now he must pretend that it never happened. Fortunately, we have the Honorable Rob Knorr who kept it on his channel, and ha ha ha. Anyways, I just want to give a quick shout out to MW Gilmore for the follow on Rumble. Appreciate you. Thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy the videos. Let's see what else. And something else. My mind went blank. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. We will continue this tomorrow. And we'll probably I don't know how much left I got of this, but we'll probably end up if this gets finished all done, because normally how the Crucible debates work is, let me make myself bigger because I'm more important at the moment. Normally how the Crucible debates work is they do the debate, and then right afterwards they have like a Q&A where they're God damn it. They have a Q&A session where the audience can come and they'll actually call in and they'll talk to them face to face and all that. So I don't know how much more of this we got left, but we'll probably stop there. And if it's early enough, then we'll go and check out Legal Mindset's video and do a reaction to that, where he is talking about what we just talked about today and get his legal opinions on it. I actually sent him a super chat too during that too, so you'll actually get to see my little logo. But yeah, so that's what's gonna happen tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah. That's all I got. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you like, subscribe. Very important. Very important. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. Peace out. And I will see you later. Peace out.